Hello everyone. In this session, I would like to discuss about the components in Angular. So, how I can create a component, I want to discuss. The next one is like once you created a component, how to use it, how to use, how to create. After that, in the next level, we'll see the communication between components. That is a separate topic. Leave it. For now, in this session, I would like to focus on how to create a component. To create the component, what steps you need to follow, and how to use that component. Let's start. I created this application by using Angular CLI. If you want how I created, just watch my previous video. Next, I run this application by using the command ng service the command. Okay, once I run this application, it gives me the message like compiled successfully. So once it is compiled successful, you can view this application with the port number 4200 in your local host. So that I run this one. Now see this HTTP localhost 4200, my hello world displayed or not. This is the content it's displayed. So already that I discussed. Okay, what is the internal flow and everything. So our goal is like how I can create my own component. For example, I want to create one A component. Let's take A. A is my component. I want to create one A component. So how we can you can write all your code inside the app folder. That is the recommended. First of all, I want to create one A component, right? Create one folder, new folder, A. So first, if you want to create a component, the file extension is like .ts is the file. Okay, using the ts file, using class, we can create a component. So create one file like a.ts. Once you created this file, okay, you have to write your component related code. So if you want to create a component, first of all, create one class. My class name is like a. This class I have to uh, export export from this export keyword used is nothing but anybody can import, anybody can use it. I created a class, I exported that class inside my ts file. When this class is acting like a component means whenever it is decorated with by use at the red component decorator, then only it's acting like a component. So import the component decorator from Angular core module. So get the component decorator. How we can use this decorator, how we can decorate that one to my A class means decorate component at the rate component. This is the syntax to use your decorator. It's take one object as an argument. Inside this object, we are going to mention something about your component, which component A component. So what is my component name? So how to use this component? Once I created, how to use this component? That component name we can mention by using selector. My selector name, you can say like any name, you can put it. My A component, for example. Done. With this name, if you use this component, which content you want me to display? That content you can mention here by using template or template URL. Let's use with template. Okay, this is my this is a component. A component. Done. If you want to write some styles, if you want to apply some styles for this particular content, then you can use. There has one more property is there. Style URLs is the property. It's like an array. It's like an array. So I created one class decorated with at the red component. I mentioned the name of the component. That means the way of using the component, the selector I mentioned. I can use the component by using this particular selector name only. While using or loading the component, this is the content it's going to display. Yes, my component ready. My component ready. So this component I want to I want to display, I want to load, I want to display the component content. So already exported this component, right? So can we import and can we load it? Which one is the root component? App component.html is the root component. App component.html is the root component. Here you have to load it. You have to load it. Before that, any component or any directive, any service, any pipe or any other module, if you use that modules, that components, directives and services pipe should have to load inside one of the module. See this here, my bootstrap module is like app module. So here you can mention, okay, you can register your component. What is my component name? Import, already exported there. From where? From my A folder. The file name is like what? A only the file name or not? A folder, A only the file name. So here control space is the shortcut. This is my exported thing or not. This is my component. These components you can register inside the module in the declaration part, declaration section. So here you have to done. Once your registration is completed, then by using the selector name wherever you want, you can use that component. So I want to use here. So can we use that component? The component always in the form of element format only. Okay, this is my A component like this. It's loaded or not. Now if you come here, see the component name, the selector name is my A. This is my component name. This is the usage name. This is my selector name. Always my component we use or we load in the form of what? Elements only or not. Element format is nothing but capital letter and small letter. Now for example, if I remove this one, okay, my hyphen A to my, in that time what change you have to do? The selector you changed, the way of using, okay, is in the element format. The user's name is what? Your component selector name. Selector name is like my, so that you have to change here like what? My or not. Then only it's going to work. Otherwise it gives me an error. This is the way you can create a component and you can register your component in your module, and you can use that component wherever you want in the form of element format. But okay, in real time, no one create a module manually like this. That no module component like this. No one create a module also, not create manually. Service also, no one create manually. Pipe also, no one create manually. As well as component also, no one create manually. Okay, write TS files like that. There has some generator commands are there. By using that commands, we can create our module. So let me open one more terminal. If you want to create one more component like a B component, G for generate. What you want me to generate? Component B. Component B. If you create a component by using this command, okay, all things taken care by those people only. So can we check? See, my B loaded, that means B folder created. In the past, I created the folder. Now automatically B folder created. Open this one. See, clean separation is there. Okay, CSS file is there, HTML is there, test file is there, and TS file is there. Within the 4 files, which file is representing your component B? Always TS file. So click on this. Now see, he created one component or which is implements from one of the interface called as a on init, and he override ng on init. These things we can discuss at the time of life cycle hooks. Okay, now don't worry, don't focus on this thing. Just I created one component, that's it. That component, you created one class, that's it. That class, when it's turned to be a component, whenever it is decorated with @component. Yes, I did it. The selector name is what? App. See, in the past, I used a template. Why? Because here itself, I written my HTML code, what you want me to display. Here, he mentioned the template URL. That means he written the template related code, view based code in another file or not, view code in another file. So here template URL we used. The difference between template and template URL is template directly we can mention your HTML code here itself. Template URL we are giving like a file path where you mentioned where you written your template related code. That file URL we can mention here, template URL. Either template or template URL you can write, but not both. This is my template URL. Inside this, see this bcomponent.html. See, this is your view. That is nothing but this is your code, you can say. Now, if you want to use this component, what is the selector? App B is the selector. This one, wherever you want, you can use it. Before that, this component should register within the module. Now, can you check? In the past, I registered my module manually, but now automatically my B component registered or not. Here my component name is like what? B component is my name or not? B component is my name. Now see this. Here you created a class. Okay, not okay, by using generator method, generator command, ngg generator command. If you create a component, then the time they won't get this boilerplate code or not. Okay, skeleton or not. They created a class that is decorated with other component. Here I use it like a selector. By using the selector only, I can use this component in the form of element. And template URL, which is used to refer your view, your HTML code. And the styles URL, if you want to put some styles on this particular, if you want to apply some styles for this particular HTML, then you can go with styles URL. Okay, here you mentioned one CSS file. So I want to use this one. So inside a.ts, only. If you want to use, you can use it, but I don't want to use here. In the app component only, you can use it better. Now see this. Now, if you come here, B works also loaded or not. If you want to apply red color, so go to your B component. This is my B component HTML. Write some color. My class equals to CR. B component.html related styles. B component.html related styles. We can write inside B component.css file. So that here you can write like CR. My color equals to what? Red or not. My color equals to red. Now see this, it's coming to the red color or not. Like this, you can generate any number of components. So we can conclude one more sentence also. We can load one component in another component or not. See, in my app component, you loaded my component as well as okay B component, app B or not. My component is the selector for my A component. So that I'm using like the selector name here. This is my A component you loaded and B component you loaded, where inside my app component or not. So we can load one component inside another component also. This is the way we can create a component in Angular, and we can use the component in this way or not, use it in the element format or not. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.